it's hard, but it's a lot of fun. I'm endlessly impressed by what these guys do, so it's kind of fun to get a good
He's so good at it, it's annoying.
Did you all miss him downstairs during the screening? Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's kind of incredible to witness on set when he's
what is that like? Like seeing all the
always kind of entertained.
Or annoyed.
Or annoyed. Mostly entertained.
It's also crazy on the pilot too, because like we had a sequence where there's an air hangar, and Jack had to do a car trick at the hangar, and it was 30 degrees out, which is pretty much like trying to do a magic trick with a brook. So, but he still was able to do it. And, you know, it's like that thing we do, and the thing is really is real. It's not a physics fact, and that's huge. It's like, you know, other magicians we had, you know, David's there and Francis are there, and they're both like, you know, that's even the best magician is gonna have trouble with that. But it was incredible.
They're very nice to me.
So usually with magic movies or shows, it involves a heist, and I feel like Deception is kind of flipping the script. You have, you know, the FBI side, but you also have, you know, the two-eye color. I forgot the character's name.
Mystery Woman.
We don't know.
Yeah. So you do have both sides. What do you think Deception? How does it stand out from all these other movies?
Well, I think the first thing is that when we kind of came to the show, it's like we thought of it as Magician Impossible. You know, it's like the idea of a magician working with the FBI, but also having a team of his very own people who are also experts in illusion. It's like, I love team shows. I grew up on them, and that's kind of what got me excited, was the idea of that mix. And so it really is an opportunity to do not only mysteries like murders and kidnappings and heists, but also to do those things as well. Like we can do deceptions, and that each episode will have a combination of what you would see in an action show and a cop show, and then we're going to have a twist on it. It's like halfway through, we begin to make it about the deception. What is the story we're going to tell to the criminals to trick them? You know, so it's very much built around that kind of, you know, that Magician Impossible kind of concept.
Also to have the Jonathan Cameron element, that storyline there, and then to have the mystery woman. So there's this, you know, just spans the entire series. So you've got a different episode. Each episode you've got a different case to crack. But it's not just a procedural run of the mill, because you've got these other branches of the show to kind of wonder about while you're watching whatever episode.
And that's the other part that we love, is that with our cast, it's like we were very lucky. We got the best cast, and they're amazing. And that as we've kind of gotten into it, it's that we love magic, but we also love these characters. And so with Jonathan and Cameron, with Kay and Mike and the whole crew, it's like we really want to explore each one of them. So it's like, unlike kind of like a classic procedural where you solve a case each week, this is very much we get into our character relationships. We want to build those relationships out, and that's the heart of the show.
How challenging is it for you playing two characters on the show?
It is challenging. It's fun. It's a whole new world for me, figuring out how to maintain these two guys who have been one person. Like that's kind of the idea, is that they really have shared a life. So there's a weird kind of blurry line between making them very different people, but also recognizing that they're very, very similar people, and they've had to be, you know, their entire lives. So that's kind of been the main challenge. Is like, I want to give them each a personality, but they also have this whole backstory that they share 100%. So.
We talked a little bit about making sure that while you give a little bit away about the magic, keeping it balanced. What has that been like, making sure you're not giving too much away?
We're very, very careful about it, and we make a great effort not to expose any technical secrets. We're not going to ruin anyone's magic show. There's a rule that if you make it up, then you can expose it. So a lot of the stuff we just kind of put our heads together and come up with a brand new creative thing to do and engineer something that isn't based on anyone's previous work. And then things also that are 100 years old are often fair game to talk about. But I think that by giving people a glimpse behind the curtain, they will appreciate magic more. You know, they're learning about the way that a magician thinks, and the thought process that goes into planning something and using misdirection and getting 2-3 steps ahead. And those are all principles that people can relate to and understand.
I definitely would second that, because as someone who didn't know magic, doesn't have a history of learning it or anything like that, to be introduced to the world through the eyes of people like David and Francis, you get so much more respect for what people do, because the definition of magic, the thing about magic is it looks easy, right? It's just, it's effortless, this thing that happens. So you think it must be relatively easy to do. It is not. There are hours and hours of work that go into, thinking up these amazing tricks and how to teach them to an idiot, and it's really, really impressive to see that.
I'm dreading the day they write me a magic trick. Just like I'm waiting for it.
You haven't picked up on anything from on the set?
I've tried, but without the dedication there, I feel like there's no way.
Right.
He's always going. I'd rather just scroll Instagram or something like that. Just a easier thing to do.
But you had FBI training. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
Well, I wanted to ask you about your FBI training and what that was like.
It was very necessary. I'd never held a gun prior to the start of the pilot, and we did go out to this amazing shooting range in Queens. That was kind of like I said. I mean, every scenario you could possibly imagine, and they teach you how to clear a room properly, and how to operate a weapon safely on set, and how to load a gun, and everything you could ever imagine that you need to know to look like a professional with a weapon. And we have a great consultant who does come to set. And it was nice just to sit down with her and to talk about why she decided to join the FBI and what it's like to be a woman in the FBI. And then you look for all these things, you think an FBI agent is going to speak a certain way or going to walk a certain way, and you realize kind of the point is not to do those things, right? Because you don't want to be detected. So with the character building there, it's not like I want Kay to walk around, with a swinging strut, because that's, you don't want to give it away.
It was really nice talking to the consultant about working as an FBI agent. And the one thing that she really said that resonated to me anyway was how good a sense of humor you have to have if you're an FBI agent. And it's true. I mean, it's the same with I think anyone who sees the worst things, you have to be able to laugh and at the office come and have that levity. So she really loves the show, I think, because she's like, these guys we have fun. There's a lot of the way it's portrayed isn't always.
You think of people who have, someone who's been in the agency for 2 decades, say, right? Think of some of the horrendous things that they've seen and experienced. She talks about having been part of child sex trafficking cases, like stings there, and undercover drug operations. And you think, well, this has got to be this is just a hardened woman because of this. But, the lightheartedness is there at the end.
Yeah.
She loves the magic as much as the next one. It's really nice to see. We're not treating the profession too lightly here.
We see a lot of banter back and forth between your two characters. So will we see that dynamic play out?
Totally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
But what do you mean by that?
You fishing?
It seems like there's a little bit of spark there, but
we're just friends, strictly.
There will never ever be a romantic relationship. No, I'm kidding.
On writing.
No, it's one of those things that you kind of have to measure as you're making a television show. Is like, it's a team show, it's an ensemble show, but obviously it's hard because they have great chemistry and they're very talented, and so there's a dynamic that you kind of have to you kind of look at, and so I think that we definitely want to explore emotional relationships and stuff like that, but we also have a lot of really exciting stories to tell. So I don't know, I'm trying to be cryptic here. I'm trying real hard.
When I first watched the trailer, I thought this is a good replacement for Castle. Having gone up a couple years ago, you feel there's a good opportunity there to fill that void with this show. I mean, it seems to speak to the same demographic in a way. It's similar concepts, but very different story. But
sure. No, absolutely. Well, here's the thing: it's we're really excited to be on ABC. When it comes to filling spots and demographics, immediately it's always a shot in the dark in a way. But I think that we're really excited to be on ABC because it's a network that's, it's fun. They want to have fun there. They've been incredibly supportive of the show. It's like the magic trick that you saw on stage that David finished with today. We actually did in the room. So we went around and we pitched all the networks with, and it's just like they love magic there, and it's a great fit. So I think that we're excited, and we'll see what happens. But with 7 seasons for Castle, I'll take that. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody liked it.
David, this is the millionth project you've consulted on. You've worked on Now You See Me, various other things. Is this the most hands-on you've been with something so far, or is this how much of the series came from you? Would you say?
This is the most hands-on. I've been a consultant on a lot of movies involving magic and bank heists and robberies and puzzles. But this is the first time I was around from the very beginning of something. So when Greg and Martin sat me down and said they wanted to do a show about magic, I cleared my schedule, and then Chris and I kind of holed up in his office for months as we took breaks, but and
15-minute breaks.
Yeah, and we crafted the characters in these stories based on, they're really like the bedrock of these capers is the principles of illusion, and so it's been really nice it's been a thrill for me to bake all that into it, and then to work with Jack and teach him, and it's been awesome.
How's that process been, by the way?
Well,
So frustrating.
No. So correct me if I'm wrong. You messed around with magic tricks as a teenager, so we had a knack for it, dexterity, and I was pleasantly surprised when we first got together.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. No, you pick it up. He's picked it up really fast. And there's two components. There's the technical skill, and then there's the performative elements where you can crowd control and misdirect. And we saw
shit for that though.
Yeah.
Performance and showmanship.
No, we saw both of those this morning in the room. So threw him into the fire today, but he did it.
Totally.
Yeah.
You did.
And you thought you guys were friends.
Yeah.
You just worked together.
But it's really, it's an incredible process. Like we went from